Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nasir, and what's on tap for today? Well, it's part 4 of the debate between Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire and Chris Hahn, attorney, leftist, Democrat, political pundit. And this was a Politicon debate between the two of them, part 4. And at times, folks, it got pretty raucous, including the moderator who was there, Clay Aiken, and I believe this is the one where Clay Aiken just absolutely freaking lost it, folks. Anyways, let's get to that clip, and I'll give you my reaction to it as well.
I think you need to agree with that.
He tells
Last
me,
time I told you to agree with something, you should have just agreed with me.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. He told me that he uses the very best words, and I think he probably does. And I think, frankly, when the left tells you to say something, you can...
Now, Michael was talking about, obviously, President Trump using the best words, the biggest words. Those words are huge.
Show them the underside of your chin. You know, I think so much of the trouble in this country is the left tells us you have to believe that. You have to say Trump is a racist and an anti-Semite. Trump has a town named after him in Israel. If he's an anti-Semite, he's the worst anti-Semite in the history of the world. He's very ineffective at it. If Trump,
I'm not calling him a racist and anti-Semite. I'm saying his words matter, and he needs to choose them better. He makes statements that move markets, offend people, get people to act in a certain way, and he needs
Chris,
to be better at it.
But Chris...
He's the president of the United States, Chris. He speaks words and they move people. They move people in whatever ways that he wants them to move. People like him, they're going to move in his direction. People don't like him, he's going to make them move away in his direction. When he speaks and moves markets, whether he speaks, whatever he talks about it, it's going to move the market one way or the other. You guys would just like him to basically not speak at all. That would make you the happiest, obviously. But he's not going to do that. Never, ever, ever. Nor do we want him. We want him to speak as much as possible. Tweet out there as much as possible. And do the things. Fight. Go on offense. It's exactly what we want from President Trump. And from our leaders as well.
Look, we could all use better words. What I'm saying is, if at Charlottesville, if he explicitly condemned racists and white supremacists, we would agree that's a good thing. The president should do that.
His first reaction should have been that. His first reaction was good people on both sides.
In the very same paragraph.
Good people on both sides is not condemning racism. There were no good people marching saying Jews will not replace us. Not one good person. Not one of those people was a good...
Okay, Chris, as I said before, there were people there that were marching that were not white supremacists but did not want those statues torn down. They were protesting against that. They were protesting basically that, you know what, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, all right? They were basically saying all those things are perfectly fine and good. You have the other side, white supremacists, bigots, racists, whatever they are. They also have a right to protest, a right to peacefully assemble. You have a right to disagree with their views. They have a right to disagree with your views. But just because there's somebody that agrees with the view on your side that happens to hold some very unbelievable and views that you don't, they're just absolutely completely wrong and are absolutely abhorrent, but that person still, if he says he supports you, you may say I don't want his support, but you can't stop him from supporting you. But you can certainly say, hey, listen, I don't want your support, all right? We're not on the same side. And that's exactly what basically Donald Trump was saying, that there were people there that were protesting the taking down of statues. You had other people there that also were protesting taking down the statues, but those people were white supremacists. Other people were protesters. You can't intertwine the two. That's exactly what Chris wants to do, unfortunately, and so does the media.
Person. Not one of them. Not one.
Now, if you read down 2 paragraphs, as he is saying that,
he still said there were good people on both sides.
What he's saying is,
and you know it, and I know it. That's what he said.
Well, I mean,
good people on both sides.
Let me ask it this way. Let me ask it this way. Let me ask it this way. Are people who are marching and shouting, Jews will not replace us, are they good people?
I don't
yes
know.
or no?
I mean,
just a yes or no question. Yes or no? No, it's a yes or no
Clay,
question.
What a ridiculous question.
Are
Give me
people,
a break.
You can boo me
is, you know, the reason
no,
they
because
get,
are you
they get
able
two
to answer
liberals
the
on one
question?
conservative
Yes
because
or
they know
no?
that it's a fair fight.
Yes or no? Are people who are marching shouting, Jews will not replace us,
Nazis are
are
bad,
they
Clay.
good
We
people?
agree. Nazis are bad, okay?
Can you say yes or no to this? Are you capable of that?
I can. Hey, Clay.
Can you say yes or no to it?
Let me ask you a question, Clay.
I don't need to answer a question because I'm not on the stage.
Clay,
Can you...
Clay Aiken here is just absolutely having a freaking fit. A moderator is supposed to stay out, ask the question, and stay the hell out of the debate. But Clay Aiken has an ego the size of Uranus, and I don't mean the planet, but he has the size of an ego of Uranus. And every single time when he moderates these debates, he wants to make it known that he's there, that he's an intellectual, that he has thought-provoking questions, when he's basically is part of the Hall of Shame of mine, the political Hall of Shame, part of SIMR, S-I-M-R, the acronym, SIMR, stupid, idiotic, moronic, retarded. He's a full-fledged member of that, and you can tell he is going right down that road as he's moderating this debate.
Answer the question. Yes or no?
You just asked me if Nazis are bad, and I told you Nazis are bad.
No, I did not ask you if Nazis were bad.
Of course you did.
I asked you to say yes or no.
Yes or no.
And I understand
those
are big words.
Really bad. Yeah, I think they're really bad.
Are people marching saying Jews will not replace us good people? Yes or no?
They're bad people, Clay. People who are Nazis are bad people, Clay.
That's not what I asked you.
I've answered this 5 times.
No, you haven't. You've chosen to answer it the way you want to answer it.
We'll go back in the tape later.
Everybody chooses to answer a question the way that they want to freaking answer it. They don't want to answer. You want to answer it my way. Use my words. I would have basically said, here, Clay, here's a pen. Here's some paper. Why don't you go ahead, write down the answer for me, and then just say that that's the answer that you wanted to hear. I mean, come on, folks. This is just unbelievable.
You're rewording.
This is exactly Clay. What you're doing right now is exactly what the mainstream media did to Trump at Charlottesville. It's the exact same thing. I gave a perfectly clear answer, and then you tried to pretend that I didn't.
I feel so bad for you. I feel so badly for you. It's very easy to play a victim. Let me ask you this.
Why do you feel
Let me ask you this. Hey, guys. You can boo all you want to. I don't give a fucking shit. Okay, listen.
There's no reason for this stupid, idiotic, moronic retard to start using swear words and use the F-bomb and whatever. He has very thin skin. He's a white elitist piece of crap. And I don't even know what the hell he's doing here other than because he was on American Idol. And I believe he lost, thank God, because he can't sing worth a lick. As you can tell, where's his singing career gone to? He had his 15 minutes of fame, or 14 minutes and a half, or whatever it was. And that's pretty much it. And now he's trying to reclaim some of that crap fame that he got being on AI.
I think our rhetoric is too extreme.
Let me ask you this. Just here's a yes or no question for you. Does President Trump lie?
Oh, I think every human being lies.
I asked a yes or no question. Does President Trump lie? Yes or no?
He lies as much as everyone else lies. Yes, he does.
It is amazing. Can I ask you a yes or no question?
Actually,
does President Trump lie?
President Trump lies.
Okay.
All the time. 7 to 10 times a day, he lies. He lies about little things. And if somebody lies about little things, you can't believe them about the big things. And that's the problem with him.
So I'll give you an answer.
There we go. The mantra. Over and over and over and over. You can say it over and over and over again. Doesn't make it true. President Trump lies all day long, 7 to 10 times a day. He just lies. Never tells the truth. He's a liar. He's a fascist. He's a authoritarian. He's a dictator. He's this. He's that. Unbelievable.
A rowdy crowd.
Because I'll give you an answer.
I like it.
You're asking if President Trump lies. Of course he lies, everybody lies. The question is, what is the nature of those lies? Does he lie and say he's got the biggest crowd sizes ever? Yes. Is that quite a lie, or is that an exaggeration?
China called. We're really close to a deal. China never called.
Yeah.
China doesn't call. China's a country. They didn't call.
President
They never
Trump's done a lot
called.
better on
He
China
lied.
than Barack
The
Obama
market
did.
responded to that lie, and some of the president's friends probably made some money off of that call.
So I'll explain this.
Lie.
So if we're talking about honesty and lies, let's just show President Trump's record compared to his predecessors. President Trump, I think one of the best left-wing arguments against Trump is that he's actually a little bit too honest and says things that he shouldn't say because he should hide it. When the Heritage Foundation did a study right after he was elected, within the first year, showed that he was affecting more of his agenda more quickly than any of his predecessors on the conservative side. I'll give you another example. The embassy in Jerusalem. Since 1995, the official policy of the United States has been to move our embassy in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Clinton didn't do it even though he said he would. Bush didn't do it even though he said he would. Obama didn't do it even though he said he would. So when Trump said that he would, nobody believed him. I didn't believe him. I never thought it would happen. Then Trump, because he's new to politics, just goes out there and he says, I think I'm going to fulfill my campaign promise. He moves the embassy. People are shocked and horrified. They say this is an international incident. It's only because he told the truth. And frankly, if I've got to choose between a guy who's got a little dodgy personal life and who tells lies about crowd sizes, and if we're talking about lies on matters of important public policy, I want the guy to be honest on public policy. I don't care what he says in his personal life.
He was.
Nice. Mike Knowles just scored points, okay, in this part 4 of this debate right here. This is something that I've talked about as well. That, you know what, Trump comes out there, says he's going to do something very effective. People don't believe that he was going to do certain things when he said he was going to do them on his policies, on his promises, on some proposals. He comes out, he does them more effectively than any other president ever in the history of our country. When people get surprised and shocked that he actually said what he said he was going to do. And just like Michael says, hey, I'll take that guy all day long. And if he just wants to do a little bit of, you know, some little fiblets or, you know, hyperbole on how he's talking, or just, you know how it is, just somebody just enhancing a little bit here and there, personal life, private life, whatever that is. Okay, so what? Who cares? But on policies, proposals, pledges that he's made that are going to do for the public, for the American citizen, for the United States of America, I'll take that guy all day freaking long.
Before you start, since clearly the audience thinks I'm biased, we're going to let them ask some questions too.
Clay, you ran.
We're going to let them ask some questions
for
too.
office as a Democrat. I think you
wanna-
have your biases.
I just want to point something out as a progressive who goes on Fox News. I'm used to biased hosts. I know you're not. I am. It's kind of nice to have
That's because
one that's
CNN doesn't
kind of
invite
on my
any
side,
conservatives
right?
on.
And by the way, you could boo me. I'm used to it when I'm in conservative crowds.
So that's the end of part 4. Part 4 goes to Michael Knowles. He scored that knockout with his final flurry of statements and words, basically. And this little thing, that subtlety that just was icing on the cake. Chris Hahn says, you know, he goes on to Fox News and, you know, he's basically, you know, the leftist, the liberal, the Marxist, you know, the political pundit from the Democratic side. And he says he goes into the den of wolves, the Republican wolves, and he goes in there and he has to battle and he has to, you know, put forth his ideas and debate back and forth. And Michael basically said, well, you know what? And Michael says, you know what? I'd love to do those things on the other side, but those guys don't invite conservatives because they're afraid of us. They don't invite you. They don't invite Michael Knowles on to CNN, on to MSNBC, on to any of these other leftist, you know, media, social media outlets, news outlets, alphabet outlets. When do they ever do that? They don't want to hear the other side. They just want to keep their leftist, progressive, you know, narrative, rhetoric, you know, going basically Trump, orange man, bad, Republicans, bad, conservatives, bigots, homophobes, racists. They just want to continue that thing. They don't want anybody to push back at all. That's exactly what happened. So part 4, knockout to Michael Knowles. So far, Michael Knowles 3, Chris Hahn 0. Check out our other debates here. We've got more parts coming up between Chris Hahn and Michael Knowles. The Q&A session. Check for those links below. Check out on our YouTube video page. You'll find the links there. We appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Put your comments down below. Let us know what you think. My final thought is, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.